The acceleration of next-generation nuclear power. The government is accelerating the construction of the legal framework necessary for the restart of nuclear energy production in Italy by 2026. This acceleration on the regulatory front will not bring immediate results in reducing energy bills, but it promises strong competitiveness and energy autonomy by 2050, which will already be noticeable in the 2030 to 40 decade as a prophecy capable of improving the financial cycle of energy by reducing its cost. The greater the consensus, the more it will be possible to govern this prophecy, anticipating its effect on investments, both private and in mixed public-private form, before 2030. How? Through actions that restore realism. First, the fear of nuclear accidents is unrealistic in relation to the new technology of small modular reactors with intrinsic safety, SMRs. Surveys already show considerable support for the new mini-nuclear approach, but it is important to consolidate it through appropriate scientific outreach. Second, there is hostile reaction to nuclear power from those who consider it sufficient to expand solar and wind energy, as well as geothermal, because these are clean technologies already available for immediate application. In this case, a strategic formula based on the mix between intermittent/discontinuous sources, such as solar and wind, and nuclear, which is continuous and not dependent on weather variability, must be clarified. Only a continuous source can compensate for intermittency. Currently, the continuous source is ensured by fossil fuels, and therefore the new nuclear has the task of gradually replacing them to increase independent and clean electricity production. In summary, the realistic formula is to base the replacement of fossil fuels for continuous electricity production on the spread of next-generation mini-nuclear, which in turn allows the increase of intermittent or localized sources. In this sense, criticism of nuclear power from proponents of solar and similar technologies is unfounded. There is no conflict between nuclear and non-nuclear energy, but complementary integration. This emphasis on an energy mix with nuclear growth has a reason already visible in the data: the future increase in electricity demand due to the growing number of data centers providing artificial intelligence products and similar services. Then we must add the increase in electricity demand for desalination plants, widespread microclimate control of indoor environments, etc., and also for electric mobility. Simply put, an energy supply adequate to demand in the coming decades will require more nuclear-derived energy. In this draft scenario, there is still no calculation of when it will be possible to obtain production from nuclear fusion plants. Even though research is accelerating, will the first plants arrive by 2040 or later? But next-generation fission-based mini-nuclear is already technologically certain, and for this reason an inevitable factor of efficiency, productivity, and safety in the next 30 years. Also for environmental advantages of non-depressive decarbonization, the possibility of mass-producing mini-plants to reduce costs, and above all the ability to use spent radioactive waste by regenerating it as active fuel within certain types of mini-plants themselves. Moreover, these can be miniaturized to under 2 hectares of space including appendices. Will the reduction of gas and oil imports pose problems? It will be gradual in correlation with the timing of replacing continuous energy sources. The difficulty, for example in the heavy truck sector, of replacing combustion engines with electric ones? It may be solved by generating synthetic or biofuels. In conclusion, there is much research to be done. But the most urgent is zoning, permits, constraints, and grid connections, for where to place more fission-based mini-nuclear plants across the territory, thus enabling the acceleration of private industrial/financial investments.